Xbox Shrouded Attributes, Call of Duty, by Kayla Plath, Lizzie Mayrose, Julie Shore, and Alex Johnson.
Shrouded attributes are attributes of a product that are not obvious to the consumer over the life of the product. Nowadays, when a consumer buys a video game, it not only costs money to purchase the game itself, but there are extra costs in order to have the full experience. For example, in the Xbox game Call of Duty, there are a certain number of maps that are sold with the game. As the game progresses, new maps are added to the game that one has to purchase online in order to achieve full gameplay. Xbox also charges a monthly fee to continue using their online gaming service. Asymmetric costs occur when one party in a transaction knows more than the other. In many cases, the seller knows more than the buyer, which leads to imperfect information. This happens when consumers may not realize that they need to pay for some features separate from the cost of the game. In other words, there is a marginal cost of information versus marginal benefit of information. The makers of Call of Duty may advertise aspects of the game that you actually need to purchase. However, consumers will still purchase the game because they are either unaware that there is an extra cost or the benefit outweighs the cost.
Using cost-benefit analysis can help a consumer decide whether or not it is worth it to pay for Xbox and all of its accessories. An Xbox Gold 1-year membership costs $59.99. An Xbox One itself costs about $350. The Call of Duty game costs at least $30 depending on how new the game is. Extra maps and guns can cost $4 or more, which brings it to a total of $445. PlayStation has a free online membership. PS4 costs $300, Call of Duty games cost $30 or more, and extra map packs and guns also cost $4 or more, which brings it to a total of $335. Although there are these costs, there are benefits to having each console. Competition is known to be better with Xbox as opposed to PlayStation. Recently, there has been talk of moving competitive play to PlayStation 4, so in the future, it might be harder competition in PS4. On both consoles, you can play with friends online, but there may be emotional ties with certain brands, such as if you had an Xbox as a kid, you could keep going with the Xbox 360 then an Xbox One. There will always be trade-offs between the two gaming systems.
Consumers are willing to pay for the newest and most updated game. Despite the ongoing costs, they still value the game enough to pay for it. This attributes to a low consumer surplus. The buyer's willingness to pay is fixed at the time of the purchase. With the addition of extra content added on later, the consumer now has to increase their willingness to pay. This in turn eats away at the overall consumer surplus when accounting for the shrouded attributes.
Even though PlayStation offers free online gaming, Xbox is able to retain their constituents. This is because Xbox offers games that PlayStation doesn't, such as the Halo franchise. This business model can be continued because no regulatory agency can step in and claim anything illegal, such as a monopoly. However, Xbox does not make it clear at the time of purchase of certain games that you may have to purchase more content to realize the full experience. To combat this, an agency could force Xbox to advertise this point at the time of sale.
Some alternatives to Xbox would be to buy the PS4, or Xbox could just unlock guns in the highest prestige as opposed to making you pay. They could also unlock guns and maps for completing special missions, or still have the option to buy maps ahead of time if you don't want to complete the special mission. Or they could reduce the price after completing special missions.
Ultimately, shrouded attributes are inherent in the way these producers conduct business. With no regulatory industry preventing companies from conducting business this way and consumers having the willingness to pay, not much will probably change.